Welcome to the holy shrine of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. Welcome to the holy city of Karbala and welcome to another episode of very special and unique series of programs. Salaam, Ya Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. Today is 5th of Muharram as we are getting very close towards the 10th of Muharram, which is the day of Ashur, which is the day of the martyrdom of Imam Hussain Islam and his companions. And as we are commemorating the tragedy of Karbala and mourning the sacrifice of Abi Abdullah al Hussain Islam, we are in your service from the holy shrine of Imam Hussain Islam. Let's begin today's program with Dua Salamati Imam Tamana Ajjalallahu Farajahu Sharif. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وكائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين يا رب العالمين. Dear viewers, let's make a niyyah that we are going to present our salam. We are going to recite a short ziyarah of Imam Hussain Islam on behalf of ourselves, our families, our friends, our neighbors, كل المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات والمرحومين والمرحومات قربة إلى الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم الشريف. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم الشريف. تقبل الله أعمالكم وأجركم عند الله. May Allah accept our prayers and give to all of us the best reward with the right of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu Islam. Dear viewers, as we are commemorating and mourning the tragedy of Karbala, and today is 5th of Muharram, there is a question which normally our youth would ask, and commonly it is in our mind, that while 10th of Muharram, the incident which happened, the tragedy which happened, was 10th of Muharram in one day, year 61 after Hijrah, which means like all the Shahada, including Abi Abdullah al-Hussain, whose martyrdom time is Asr Ashur, and all other companions, even Ali al-Akbar al-Islam, Hazrat Abbas al-Islam, Ali al-Asghar al-Islam, Qasim ibn al-Hassan al-Islam, Ono Muhammad al-Islam, or Muslim ibn Osja, Habib ibn Mazahir al-Asadi, John Habashi, all those, they have sacrificed their lives along with Imam Hussain Islam. It all happened one day, 10th of Muharram. And even history story goes that 9th of Muharram, they came to attack the tents of Imam Hussain Islam. And Imam Hussain Islam himself, he requested them that I don't want to fight today. Give me at least one more day. He asked them to spare a day for him. And that's exactly what he did, that all night he worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He visited his friends and his family, of course, officially to say goodbye to them. So 9th of Muharram supposed to be war, which didn't happen because Imam Hussain Islam requested them to give them one more day. And then 10th of Muharram started from early morning and till Asr Ashur, everything was done. And Asr Ashur, we see that they burned the tents. And then, of course, all that happened. And then we commemorate today, which is called Sham-e Ghariban. I mean, by sunset, everything was over. And now the family of Imam Hussain Islam, Imam Sajjad Islam, only was left over from the men. And then Lady Zainab Kubra Salamullah and Lady Kulthum and all others, they were left alone over there. and they were taken as a prisoner of war, and that was very hard evening for them, and that's why we call it Shame Ghariban. Now, the question is that while it happened in one day and we don't know really the sequence, I mean, we do know the sequence, like who went first and who went after, but again, exactly, maybe we don't know that much. But at the end of the day, what we do is we have, I mean, mark the days with different shuhada. Like, for example, from first day one, I mean, we begin reciting it. It depends upon, different culture, I will say, traditions, khutbah, community, that who they have picked and who have they marked. Like, for example, first of Muharram will be Muslim ibn Aqil, or it will be departure from Medina of Imam Hussain, the Messiah part which we recite. So we have marked that one. And then we go like that. For example, 5th of Muharram, normally we recite Messiah of Honor Muhammad, the sons of Lady Zainab Kubra Salam alaiha, that they sacrificed their life for Abi Abdullah al Hussain and for this noble cause. And we have marked, and the same thing, Hazrat Ali al Akbar alayhi, we have marked the one day, and of course it's also different. Ali al Asghar alayhi, it used to be 9th of Muharram or 6th of Muharram. I mean, depending upon that which community we are talking about. But then, of course, now we have an international day for Ali al-Asghar Islam, that there is an organization. What they did, they marked a first Friday of Ashur. Like, for example, after 1st of Muharram, whatever the first Friday come, now they commemorate International Day of Ali al-Asghar Islam. So eventually now, the first Friday is becoming the day of Hazrat Ali Asghar Islam. Otherwise, we recite different days, the Messiah of Hazrat Ali Asghar Islam. Hazrat Abbas Islam. In subcontinent, Indo-Pak, we have marked 8th of Muharram for the Shahada of Imam Hazrat Abu Fadl al-Abbas Islam. Though Hazrat Abu Fadl al-Abbas Islam also was martyred at the 10th of Muharram, but we have marked 8th of Muharram. So 8th of Muharram we will have Julus Ada with the alam of Hazrat Abbas Islam. Now, but here in Iraq, 7th of Muharram, they commemorate the Shahada of Hazrat Abu Fadl al-Abbas. So the question is that, what is this and why is this? Let me just simply answer to this question. First of all, as I mentioned, all the Shahada, all the martyrdom has happened on 10th of Muharram, no doubt about it. But in order to manage, because we have 10 days of Majalis Adab beginning from 1st of Muharram, so in order to manage, it's up to us that we have decided to recite different Masaib at different day. It doesn't matter, like for example, a 5th of Muharram, I will not recite Masaib of Honor Muhammad. Does not mean that today is the Shahada of Hazrat Honor Muhammad and I have to recite the Masaib of Honor Muhammad. But traditionally we do. Why? Because mentally people are prepared for 5th of Muharram, because from childhood they they are used to it. The 5th of Muharram is marked the Shahada of Hazrat Muhammad alayhi salam. So in other sense, I will say it depends upon a community. It's a logistics, it's a management. It is like that. Instead of reciting one day all the Shahada, we have divided. By the way, also I would like to mention this. In Karbala in Iraq, what they do is, while they do commemorate differently, but 10th of Muharram, they read Maqtal, which is Qissa Istishhad, which means the whole story of the martyrdom of Hazrat Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. 3 hours it takes, but they read the whole story, which I think is a very good idea, that at least we should summarize and at least we should read in detail what has happened 10th of Muharram. So now every year, 10th of Muharram, before Salatul Dhuhr, 3 hours, depending upon it's winter or summer, they will read, it's called Maqtal, the whole story of the day of Ashura, which is very good. And everybody, they just listen and they sit over there. And now, of course, eventually they have memorized the story of Karbala and what has happened 10th of Muharram. So, just I wanted to briefly reply to this question. that yes, all the shuhada, they were murdered at 10th of Muharram, but logistically we have divided into different ways, and it depends upon different communities, different cultures, different countries. Otherwise, it doesn't matter like if you can read the Masayib of Honor Muhammad later on or before, so it depends upon the logistics. Let's take a short break and we'll be back shortly. And after that, we are going to open our phone lines and we will provide our approach. And we will provide the opportunity to all of you that you can call in and you can present your salam and you can offer your condolences to Imam Hussain. Stay tuned, we'll be back shortly. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم الشريف. سلام يا حسين عليه الصلاة والسلام.